senior writer for RealTime Fantasy Sports, and thanks for watching another edition of the RealTime Fantasy Sports Show. On today's show, I'm going to give you 5 hot plays for Week 6 of the fantasy football season. These are 5 players I think you'll want in your lineups this week. I think they can produce big and really help your fantasy team to hopefully a victory. My first hot play for this week is Kenny Golladay, wide receiver with the Detroit Lions. So he had the week off last week, a bye week, to hopefully get him even healthier. He did start the year injured, which hurt his numbers overall, but he's looked good the last couple weeks. He has touchdowns in each of his first 2 games this year, 16 plus fantasy points each game as well. He plays Jacksonville this week. They're 28th against the pass, allow 280 passing yards per game. So I think Golladay can really have a big showing in this one. He should be considered an elite fantasy receiver in this matchup. My next hot play for this week is Todd Gurley, running back with the Atlanta Falcons. So Gurley had his first 100-yard game of the season last week. He had a season-high 25 fantasy points. He has 19-plus fantasy points 2 straight games, so he's playing a little better of late. And he plays the Vikings this week. They allow 133 rushing yards per game. I think Gurley keeps it going in this one and has another very good showing for all of his fantasy teams. My next hot play for Week 6 of the fantasy season is Ben Roethlisberger of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So Roethlisberger, kind of quietly, is off to a great start this year. He has 21-plus fantasy points all 4 games. He has multiple touchdowns every game and at least 229 passing yards all 4 games. He also has been picked off just once all year. So he's taking care of the ball. He's produced a lot of points for his fantasy owners, and he is doing a good job of finding the end zone. So Big Ben this week plays Cleveland in a big-time division matchup that means a lot for the standings, but it also bodes very well for Roethlisberger this week. Cleveland is 30th overall against the pass and have allowed 12 passing touchdowns this year. So I think Roethlisberger will get a lot of chances to air it out and have a lot of success in this matchup. My fourth hot play for Week 6 is David Montgomery, running back with the Chicago Bears. So he had one of his best games of the season last week. It wasn't because of what he did on the ground, though. He was really held in check rushing, but he caught the ball 7 times for 30 yards. His work in the passing game has really picked up in recent weeks with Tariq Cohen out. Montgomery has at least 3 receptions, 3 of the last 4 games. So this is really helping his fantasy numbers overall. And I think his rushing totals will improve this week against Carolina, who allows 133 rushing yards per game. And they've also given up 8 rushing touchdowns. So if he gets the work through the air again, catching the ball, and he also gets some success, has some more success on the ground rushing, I think that really means good things for Montgomery in Week 6. All right, my last hot play for Week 6 of the season is Gardner Minshew, quarterback with Jacksonville. So Minshew has really been a top play all but one game this year. He had a dud of a game against Miami in a favorable matchup. He came up small for fantasy owners. But besides that game, he's really been very good. He has at least 22 fantasy points, 4 or 5 games, multiple scores, 4 of those games, and 3 300-yard showings. So his numbers have been off the charts. He's near a top 10 play on a weekly basis for his fantasy owners. So I think he'll continue that this week against Detroit, a team that allows 32 points per game. This could be a high-scoring game. I think that bodes well for Minshew to post good numbers once again for all of his fantasy owners. All right, those are my 5 hot plays for Week 6 of the fantasy season. Hopefully you have a lot of success in all of your matchups this week, and you have a lot of hot plays in all of your lineups. This has been Jeff Paur for RealTime Fantasy Sports. Have a great day.